To Sights and Stories, a global Aussie journey, the podcast where a qualified historian with a passion for travel and the past will take you to the world's most iconic destinations. Each episode we will explore not just the sights, but the stories behind them. I want to give you expert historical knowledge and practical tips to assist travel plans and along the way make your experiences to sites much more memorable when at the destination. Today we will continue a travel series on Japan. Let's take a look at the tallest observation tower in Tokyo, the Tokyo Skytree. During the podcast there will be plenty of opportunities to ask questions. Just put them in the chat and I'll stop along the way and answer them. I will also dedicate the last 5 to 10 minutes of this chat, of this podcast, to any questions you may have regarding the sites or general questions about going to Tokyo. If you want to privately message me, you can write an email and send it to sightsandstoriesau@gmail.com. I've pinned that link to the stream chat. This link will also be on the YouTube slideshow presentation that will be published following the podcast. Please also remember to press the follow button. This gives me encouragement and lets me know you are enjoying the podcast. So sit back and enjoy. Let's get a fascinating insight into Tokyo Skytree, discovering both its history and the reasons for visiting the site while in Tokyo. First of all, let's talk about the history and the structure of the tower. Tokyo Skytree is the tallest tower in all of Japan since 2012. It stands at 634 meters tall. Currently, it sits third in the world behind the Merdeka 118 Tower at 678.9 metres tall in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and the Burj Khalifa Tower in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, standing at 829.8 metres tall. So considering it was built in 2012, it still holds a fairly good record, being the third highest in the world. The history of the tower can be traced back actually to the 16th century because during the Tokugawa shogunate there was a tower called the Musashi Kusuji Signal Tower, which was built in the area of present-day Tokyo Skytree. So the area has had actually a tower since the 16th century. The tower used to transmit messages to Edo Castle. Edo Castle being basically the seat of power where the Tokugawa ran the country from. Today, of course, it's the site of the Imperial Palace in Tokyo. If you want to know more about the Imperial Palace, by the way, I have got a podcast on it that I've done previously, so check that out. The area of present-day Tokyo Skytree was actually a major transport route during the Edo period. If you want to learn, like I said, more about the palace and also the Edo period, just go back to that previous podcast and I'll talk about the Edo period and what that meant. So it does have a long history in the area to have a tower. If you go onto the YouTube site, you'll actually be able to see Tokyo Tower where it sits today in terms of the city. The tower was constructed between 2003 and 2012, with the groundbreaking ceremony taking place in 2008. It took exactly 1,325 days to build the tower from 2008 to 2012, and the total weight of the steel framework is 36,000 tonnes, or the weight of 200 jumbo jets. So it's actually quite weighty. It was named the Tokyo Tower as a result of the naming competition in 2008. There were other names that were suggested, including Tokyo Edo Tower, the Rising Tower, Tower of the Future, Rising East Tower, and Dream Lookout. But a nationwide vote was conducted and Tokyo Skytree won that vote, receiving 30% of the vote, or around about 33,000 votes out of the 110,000 people that voted in the nationwide poll. The second most popular name was Tokyo Edo Tower, probably as a result of that link, like I said, to a previous tower in the Edo period. The name, it actually reflects the tower's purpose as a symbol of Tokyo reaching towards the sky. This is reflected in also the tower's colour. During the day, the tower has a slight bluish colour to it, although the official colour is called Skytree white. It is based on the Japanese colour called Igiro, the lightest shade of Japanese indigo blue, which is meant to blend in with the blue sky and create harmony within the city's landscape. It is quite a pretty attractive tower to see from a distance. It sticks out, but it doesn't sort of take away from the city, and it is quite beautiful to look at. At night, however, the tower is transformed into one of 3 bright LED light displays. Iki, or the spirit of Edo, commoners, has a light blue colour along the tower body to express a water theme in tribute to the Sumida River, which is right next to the tower itself. Miyabi is a purple light display and is meant to convey elegance. And the third display is called Nabori, and the tower body has like a tangerine appearance that has been considered a lucky colour since ancient times. So the 3 light displays, they actually alternate every day. So you can find out what colour the tower is going to be by going on the official Tokyo Skytree website. They have lighting information page there, and you can usually find a whole month's schedule in advance. So if you want to see what colour is going to show on any given night, just go on there and find out. The tower was actually designed for 3 purposes. Firstly, it was going to be a disaster prevention centre. Secondly, it needed to serve as a major tourist destination and a landmark of Tokyo. And thirdly, and arguably the most importantly for local Tokyo people, it needed to become a digital broadcasting tower. So we're going to have a look at each of those features. And by the way, if you want to see what the Skytree looks by day and by night, have a look at the YouTube link later on. It has a picture actually of the light blue colour that is present at night. So if you want to check out that light display, go onto the YouTube and you should be able to see it. So like I said, it's been designed for 3 different purposes, and it was originally created by a company called Nikon Sekai, who drew up, basically they were inspired from traditional Japanese architecture, and in particular they looked at 5-story pagodas, which were renowned to be earthquake proof, earthquake resistant through Japan's history. And they had a look at those pagodas because they use flexible wooden joints and a shimbashira, which is a central pillar that absorbs and dissipates seismic energy. That's how they're able to withstand earthquakes. So the last thing they wanted to do was build a tower that could actually have problems during an earthquake or a typhoon, which Tokyo is susceptible to. So the designers wanted to basically tap into the ancient design. So they basically created a modern equivalent. What they created was a massive central reinforced concrete shaft that acts as its own shimbashira. Okay, the tower sits today on the bank of the Sumida River, which is why one of the colours is linked to that. That blue colour is linked to the river. But as a result of sitting next to a river, its surface layer is made up of silt, which is incredibly soft ground. So to counter this, the architectural company had to come up with a way of making sure that the tower would have very firm foundations. So the tower has 3 clusters of deep wall pile foundations. And these wall piles are about 1.2 metres thick and 35 metres deep, providing a very rigid substructure system that can withstand extreme wind and seismic activity. It's the first of many features which make sure that Tokyo Skytree is absolutely safe during any disaster. So basically the rigid substructure, which I just spoke about, and the soft ground, they effectively work together to dampen the effects of any movement in the ground from earthquake activity. I've got a couple of questions, but I will answer them shortly. I'll just get through a little bit more about the safety features of this tower and how it was designed to be a disaster prevention center, and then I'll answer those questions. Okay, I'll be with you soon with them. Um, the tower also, in addition to that central shaft and that deep foundation that I just spoke about, it's also drawn lessons from famous structures like the Eiffel Tower in Paris by having a triangular three-legged base that forms a rounded shape as it rises. The shape is made of a high-strength steel pipes up to 2.3 meters wide. The shape and materials, they optimize the aerodynamics and they provide further stability in the event of a national disaster. The tower also has an inbuilt vibration system. So the inner shinbashira, which I was talking about before, that was modelled on pagodas, it's actually separated from the steel truss that I just spoke about, the exterior. So it allows the tower to sway independently. So in the event of an earthquake, there's actually an oil damper system which surrounds the concrete shaft, and it serves as a protective pillow which moves out of step with the building structure to keep the centre of gravity as central as possible to the tower's base. And that means that it can absorb up to, what the designers reckon, up to 50% of an earthquake's energy. So this means that the concrete core and the steel frame are designed to offset each other to reduce the movement of the building in an earthquake, and it makes sure that it's more stable. The Tokyo Skytree also rests on seismic base isolators, which are like massive rubber pads. They're around about 1.4 meters thick, and they allow the tower to flex without damage during an earthquake as well. And the tower also has two tuned mass dampers at 620 and 625 meters height. And these are massive weights. And what they're designed to do is sway at opposing frequencies to the wind, thereby reducing the vibrations and protecting the tower's antennae during a typhoon. Because remember, one of the features of this Skytree tower is to be a communications, a broadcasting centre. So they're there for that reason. So I'll just stop and answer a few questions there. Does the tower change colours for specific occasions, and can the colours betray any images, or is it just a single colour? Yes, they can. It can take on different colours, and it does during different festival times. So during towards Christmas, it can have different colours. If there's special festivals or if there's anniversaries taking place, it can also have different colours to Skytree. And again, they're published on the official site, so you can see them a month in advance if you want to. Just check that out before you go. If you plan on seeing Tokyo Skytree at night, check out, and you want to take some nice photos, check out the colour guide beforehand. There's another question: when is the best time to visit the tower? It's good anytime, whether it's during the day or whether it's during night. You can visit the tower, but I will talk more about that a bit later on. Somebody just asked, is there a mass damper in the tower? Definitely. Yeah, I think I've answered that one. But there's all these safety features that I just mentioned, but there's even more than that. So to top off the safety features that I've just mentioned, there is also an old school evacuation stairway for visitors to use as well. But the steps is something else. If you were to use those stairs from the first floor to the Tembo deck, which is one of the observation decks in the tower, it's 1,929 steps. So you've got to have a bit of energy to get down them, but I suppose if it is a natural disaster, you're going to be moving down those stairs pretty quickly. To get from the Tembo deck up to the Tembo Galleria, which is the top observation deck, it's a further 594 stairs. So if you add it all together, it means that if you're on the top observation deck and you need to evacuate via the stairs, you're looking at 2,523 stairs. So you'd have to be pretty fit to be able to do that. There is an elevator, thankfully, so you don't have to go up the steps to get up to the top. But it would be quite a workout. So you can see there's a lot of incredible technology that's gone into Tokyo Skytree to make it one of the safest, if not the safest, building in Tokyo during an earthquake or a typhoon event. That is the reason why it serves as a backup disaster response headquarters for Tokyo. It houses emergency supplies, including a large-scale water storage system that can hold 7,000 tonnes of water, either for firefighting or for people unable to return to their homes. The centre also has food, it has blankets, it has portable toilets for residents impacted by a natural disaster as well. It's equipped with monitors and microphones for broadcasting announcements to the people, and the height allows observers to basically monitor the entire area via specialised cameras that have 88 times zoom, so they can definitely go over a large distance. So you put that all together, and this site is perfectly built for a natural disaster. So it's a very safe building. Even though it's the tallest building in Tokyo, you have nothing to fear. It is incredibly safely got an incredible amount of safety features attached to it. If you go onto my YouTube site, you'll be able to see a pagoda. It gives you an idea of what the structure was based on, and you can also see a picture which shows the steel frame and the central shaft that I've been talking about, the concrete shaft that's been built that act independently of each other during the event of a disaster. So you can check that out on the YouTube site. So basically, you've got that's one of the purposes of Tokyo Skytree. It had to operate as a headquarters during a natural disaster and be able to withstand any disasters that came its way. The second purpose of the tower was to create a centre for tourism and a significant landmark for Tokyo. So when the tower opened, there was a lot of excitement. There was about 1.6 million people that went went up to the observation tower during the first week alone. So that just gives you an idea of how popular it was. And today, it has around about 4.6 million visitors per year. So that's over 12,500 people a day. And you might be thinking, whoa, it's going to be hard to book in and to get up the site. But I'll talk about that later as well. No fear. Okay, so yeah, 12,500 people a day go up the tower. And obviously, most people are drawn to the two observation decks. So the journey up to the observation decks is quite an experience in itself. They have 4 elevators, which can hold around about 40 passengers each. And it travels, get this, at a speed of 600 meters per minute. So this means that it takes around 50 seconds to reach the Tembo deck, the first observation deck. It's actually the 7th fastest elevator in the world. So if you want to ride on one of the fastest elevators in the world, you've got to go up Tokyo Skytree up to one of the observation decks. Each elevator actually has it has a different design. There's actually 4 different digital themes within them. As you're going up in that 50 seconds, they still keep you entertained. And those 4 designs represent the seasons of the year. So they represent spring, summer, fall, and winter. Cherry blossom skies simulate spring when cherry blossoms fall from a tree. The Sumida River skies simulate the large fireworks in the summer night sky as they reflect on the Sumida River. You've got festival skies, which showcases feathers from portable shrines during autumn. And you've got the Mayakadori skies, which show birds during winter riding the wings of the Sumida River on their flight back home. So it depends on what elevator you get on. It's just like a bit of a lotto. You sort of have your ticket, you go through. They basically, it's so regimented. They get you into those elevators pretty quickly, and you'll be in one of those 4 elevators. Which one? You'll just have to wait and see as you hop on. But I have got a picture of one of the displays of the elevators on the YouTube slideshow for you to check out if you want to have a look at that. I'll stop there because there's a few more questions. Is there only one level, or is there other levels with restaurants? There are actually 2 observation decks, and I'm going to go through both of them. So you can go onto both observation decks if you want, but it's going to cost you a little bit more to get to the top one. Somebody's asked, have I done it before? Absolutely. I've gone up to Tokyo Skytree. It's a wonderful experience, and that's why I'm trying to give you some tips here. But yeah, you can go to either observatory, and yes, there are some restaurants. There's places where you can eat. There's places where you can get souvenirs. There's toilets and bathrooms up there, so it's basically got everything you need to have a wonderful experience. I'm just seeing if there's any other questions. Oh yeah, so somebody asked if the tower's used for anything aside from tourism hotspot. I've just gone through actually how it was a disaster prevention centre. It's been designed for that. And I'm on the tourism now, but there's also another feature which I'll talk about later on as well. And I think I've got through... Okay. Don't know about that one. Does the Japanese season start at the beginning of the month or after solstice like us? Not sure about that. I'd have to check into that one and get back to you on that one. What kind of view can you get of Mount Fuji? You can definitely see Mount Fuji from the observation decks that I'm about to explain, but it's got to be on a clear day. Just like any of the observation towers within the city, which I've been up on all of them. You need a clear day to be able to see Mount Fuji. On a clear day, it's beautiful to see. So, yes, you can definitely see it from Tokyo Skytree. But let's go towards let's go over each of the observation decks and get a feel for what you can see. So the first one is the Tembo deck. And the Tembo deck is on floor 350. It has large windows of glass and it provides like a 360 degree view of the city. So you can walk around it and get every angle you want of the city. It is said that you can view sites up to 70 kilometers away and hence you can see Mount Fuji on a clear day from this observation point. So you don't need to go up to the top level to see Mount Fuji. You can see it on either of them. Okay. There are monitors placed around the deck at different points and they show visitors the locations of various landmarks around Tokyo. So if you don't know the city terribly well and you've just arrived in Tokyo and you want to get a feel for the place, it's actually not a bad idea going up on an observation tower because this one, Tokyo Skytree, has monitors placed around where it actually tells you the different places, the different buildings and so forth, and so it gives you a really good feel for the city while you're having a look at all the sites. So it's got that feature there. The Tempo deck can hold approximately 2,000 people at once. So you know how I was saying there's 12,500 visitors per day? Well, 2,000 can go into the Tempo deck at any time. So you can see that the actual tower can hold lots of people in it. It's not small. Somebody's just asked, can you bungee jump from it like Wellington Town? No, you can't bungee jump from this one as far as I'm aware, but it has got a cool feature. On the Tembo deck, there's actually a 12mm thick glass floor, which allows you're allowed to stand on it and you can basically see all the way down the tower to the bottom, to the street. So it's pretty cool because you get a breathtaking view of the landscape below the building and it gives you a fantastic insight into how high you actually are up in the building. So you don't have to bungee jump. You can walk on the glass, the glass windows that are set in the floor and get a really good view about get a really good feeling about how high you how high you are up in the sky. And you can even get a photo next to a special Skytree shaped red post box as well. If you're someone who wants that, bit of a funny photo, you can get that up there as well. So there's some nice photos to take. And if you are a bit adventurous, you can walk on that glass floor. There's also a cafe that's located on this level, so you can get some food and drink. And there's also a souvenir shop that you can buy some items from if you wish. At Tokyo Skytree, there's also plenty of opportunities to get commemorative photos that overlook the tower with your family. So they have professional photographers there, so you can get some nice photos up there. At Christmas time, they actually put Christmas trees and decorations there so that you can get a nice photo amongst Christmas decorations if that's your thing as well. So it's a really nice stop. This is the Tembo deck, and that's, like I said, located on floor 350. There's a couple more questions. I think I'll just quickly have a look to see if there's any more there. Can't see any more at the moment. I'll keep moving on because we'll move up to the top level now. Okay, so we'll go up to the Tembo Galleria. And the Tembo Galleria is between floors 445 to 500. It has a sloped 110 metre airwalk, and the highest point within the actual Galleria is called Sorokara Point, and it's 451.2 metres high. So that's the highest point in the observation deck that you can reach. So just over 450 metres in the air. So it's meant to make, this Galleria is meant to make the visitor feel like they're walking in the air, because it's got that big windows around it. So it's meant to make you think like you're walking in the sky. It's designed to hold around about 900 people at once. So if you add that to the 2,000 people that can be accommodated on the lower observation deck, you've got about 2,900 people that can go inside the Tokyo Skytree at any one time. So that means they're getting through people quite quickly. I know there's a question there about, does it get crowded? Yes, it can get crowded, but you know, it's always best to visit it either first thing in the morning if you don't really want to get, you know, too crowded. And first thing in the morning does have its benefits, because sometimes that's the best time to see Mount Fuji. So if you want to visit, you know, a visit without a lot of people, that might be a good time. Around about sunset. Sunset is always a popular time for people, because people want to see the sun going down over the city, and then they catch the lights as well. So if you go to any of the observation towers around sunset, that is the busiest time, and that's when you're likely to get a bit more crowded. But remember, it holds so many people. There's so many windows there to take photos from and to look at points around the city, that you're going to be able to get a good vantage point. So I wouldn't worry too much about, you know, being shoulder to shoulder with people. So when you're in the Tembo Galleria, you can get, of course, some great photos up there. They will have commemorative photos again that they will offer to visitors. So you know, it's a great place to go. Like I said, though, it does cost a little bit more to get up to the top level. I'll go through the costs a bit later on. Once you make your way back down the elevator, you can stop at another Skytree shop. So the Skytree shop sells souvenirs. So if you don't get any souvenirs when you're up at the Tembo deck or the Tembo Galleria, when you go down the elevator out of the Skytree, there will be another opportunity to buy some souvenirs. I have got an example of, you know, types of souvenirs that you can buy on the YouTube site, the slideshow that I'll post up later on. So if you want to check that out, you can. But they're the two decks basically. So you've got the Tembo deck at floor 350, and then you got the Tembo Galleria at 445 to 500. So there are some other things that you can visit while you're at the observation tower. So there is a large shopping mall called the Tokyo Skytree Town, which is located directly below the observation decks themselves. This centre has countless restaurants and cafes. It's got your usual sort of, mainstream chain stores like KFC and Starbucks, McDonald's. They're all located in the shopping mall underneath Tokyo Skytree. There's also some specialty stores like Sanrio, a Pokemon Center, and it's also got Studio Ghibli film merchandise in the Donguri Republic store, which is down there from, you know, famous shows like My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away. So if you want to get some things attached to the Ghibli films, you can do that as well. And they've also got, believe it or not, an aquarium. The Sumida Aquarium is also within the complex, and it has seals, penguins, and even a jellyfish tunnel, which you can visit. And there's also a Konica Minolta Planetarium, Tenko, with 3D experiences under a starry night, which you can go to as well. So as well as going to the observation tower, you can get like a shopping fix, or you can visit the aquarium. So there's quite a lot to do within the vicinity of the tower. There's also a rooftop garden where you can enjoy scenic views of the city, And there's a themed cafe that people like to visit called the Kirby Cafe that has Nintendo themed foods. So if you want to check that out, you can go there as well. But the Kirby Cafe does need you need to book in very quickly. That is a very hot place to visit in Tokyo. So advanced reservations are definitely needed there. I think they're released on the 10th of every month at around about 6 o'clock Japanese time if you want to get some reservations to the Kirby Cafe. But you can also get takeout food from the same cafe if you're unable to get a reservation. At Christmas time, there's also a small Christmas market at the base of the tower that has a very impressive tall Christmas tree attached to it. So it's no wonder visitors come to the site. They not only go to the observation tower, but they also go to see, to go shopping, to go to the aquarium, to go to the Christmas markets. There's a lot to do there. So this really is a great place in Tokyo to visit. I'll just stop there and see there's a couple more questions in there. I think I've answered the one, does it get crowded? Who cleans those windows? Yeah, it'd be a pretty scary prospect. I'm not sure, but there's one thing for sure, I wouldn't want to be doing it. The cost of entry, somebody has written it correctly there. It's 3,100 yen for an adult to go to both observation decks. That's an advanced ticket price. If you turn up on the day, it'll probably cost you about 400 yen extra. So you're probably looking at about 3,500 yen for an adult to go up to the both observation decks. If you just want to go to the Tembo deck, the first deck, that's 2,100 yen an adult, and it goes up to 2,400 yen if you don't buy advance tickets. So that's pretty much the cost per adult to get up to those decks. Okay. Is the Christmas tree all round year? No, it's not. It's actually only in late November through to December. The Japanese, they like to pull down decorations pretty quick. They're pretty methodical. So straight after Christmas Day, those decorations will be gone. So they're pretty quick with that. But yeah, they will be there from kind of mid to late November all through December. So it'll be there for over a month and a half if you want to see the Christmas tree and the Christmas markets. The exact dates for the markets for this year have not been published yet. They'll probably come through in the next month or two. You'll probably be able to find out the exact dates for the Christmas market opening. Somebody's also asked, is it worth doing both levels? Absolutely. I would do both the levels. You come all the way to Japan, come to Tokyo, you might as well pay the little bit of extra. Okay, it's 1,000 yen extra per adult, but I'd definitely go up to the top level. You might as well experience it all. If you've been there before, maybe not. Maybe just go to the Tembo deck. But if it's a first time ever and it's your first time in the city, definitely go up to the top level, go up to the Galleria and check it out. I'd pay the little bit extra to do that. But you can get good photos on both decks, so you don't have to worry about that. If money is an issue and you want to do it on a budget, you'll definitely be able to see Mount Fuji and all the major sites at the lower deck if that's something you want to do. But for me, I would go up to the top one. If it's my first time to Tokyo Skytree, I'd definitely go all the way to the top and experience things from just over 450 meters in height. I think it'd be awesome. So we've basically gone through two of the reasons why Tokyo Skytree was built. So we've got, first of all, Disaster Prevention Center, and we looked at all those different architectural features that have been put in place to withstand earthquakes and typhoons. We've looked at it as a landmark of Tokyo and how there's so many fun things to do while you're there, not just the observation tower, but also at Tokyo Skytree Town, which is directly below the observation deck area. The third reason, to go to Tokyo Skytree, or why it was built, I should say, is arguably the most important for Tokyo residents, and that is it's a transmission of digital broadcasting. Basically, digital broadcasting has been in Tokyo area since about 2003. Now, we know the tower was only built in 2012, so they had an issue with digital broadcasting during those years. Tokyo Tower, which is another iconic observation deck, and I've spoken about that in a previous podcast, and I'm telling you, that's another place to go visit. Check out my previous podcast on that one. Tokyo Tower was actually the main broadcaster service in the city. But what happened is many buildings that were being built around the city were actually going above Tokyo Tower. They're rising above 200 meters across the city. And basically, the city needed a taller broadcasting tower. And so the Tokyo Tower is only 333 meters tall compared to the 634 meter tall Tokyo Skytree. So basically, Tokyo Skytree is a full 301 meters taller than Tokyo Tower. So that gives you an idea of how they had to lift those antennae above all of the tall buildings in the city. Like I said, by the way, if you want to know more about Tokyo Tower, please check my previous podcast. It's one of my favourite towers to visit in the city. It's an iconic observation deck. Even though it's much smaller in height, it's definitely worth checking out as well. So check out that podcast. Tokyo Skytree, it actually currently services 8 TV channels across Tokyo. So it's got NHK with its educational and general TV stations. It's got Nippon Television. It's got TV Asahi, TBS Television, TV Tokyo, Fuji Television, and Tokyo MX. It also broadcasts 5 major radio stations, including J-Wave Tokyo, NHK FM Broadcast Tokyo, TBS Radio Tokyo, and Nippon Cultural Broadcasting. So it's not just for TV, it's also for radio. So there we have it. They're the 3 main reasons why the tower was built. As a natural disaster prevention centre, a landmark for the city, and a tourist beacon, and a landmark, and as a digital broadcasting centre. So they're the reasons it was built. There are a couple of questions, so I'm going to spend some time now answering any questions that people have out there. I know I've answered quite a few. Are there Japanese people thinking about building another taller tower than this one? Not as far as I know, not in Tokyo. I'm not sure, but I'm sure that there's always people out there trying to build things bigger. But as far as I know, no, not at this stage. Are there any other questions out there? One question I get quite a lot is, how long would you spend at the site? How long do I have to put aside to go and see the Tokyo Skytree? It depends, of course, how far across the city you are. But if you're staying in the centre of town, it's probably going to take you less than 30 minutes to get there. Once you're there, it's really close to the network, the train network. So it's virtually, you come out of the train station and you're at the Tokyo Skytree. So it's not like it's in the middle of nowhere to get to. So once you get to Tokyo Skytree, I would say the actual observation deck with advanced tickets ready to go. So you just walk straight in, you get straight into an elevator, up you go in 50 seconds, and you're in the tembo deck. I would say probably an hour and a half will probably do you for the amount of time that you're going to be in the decks themselves, checking out the views. If it's your first time in Tokyo and you've never seen Tokyo at all, you might take a little bit longer just to acclimatise with the different landmarks and stuff, and you might just be blown away by how big the city is, so it might take you a couple of hours. If you're going to sit there and you're going to have something nice to eat in the cafe, and you're going to shop at the souvenir shops, it'd probably take you another half hour. So that's, like I said, about 2 hours. And then if you go visit the Tokyo Skytree town below, well, that could be another half a day. If you're going shopping and if you're going to the aquarium, you could definitely make a full day out of visiting Tokyo Skytree if you wanted to. But if you just wanted to do the observation deck and then move on to something new, you definitely get it done within the morning or an afternoon. It's not going to take up a full day, and it's not like you're going to have huge crowds. If you have that advanced ticket, you're going to get up there very quick. The Japanese are very methodical in making sure that people move up and down and get to where that they stick to the ticket times. So you wouldn't have to worry about that. So you'll get there quick enough, and you'll probably get it done within a couple of hours. So that's one of the questions I usually get regarding the the observation decks. How long should I take for it? How long should I set apart for it? The other questions I get a lot of the time visiting any sites in Tokyo is it good for the whole family? Like, is this a place you'd take kids? Yes, absolutely. Take the kids up to Tokyo Skytree. I mean, if you're someone who's nervous with heights, I'd still go up Tokyo Skytree because, the elevator's not going to it's going to go up so quick. It's not like you feel it. It's not like a roller coaster ride or anything like that. It's a very smooth elevator. It's going to take you up very quickly. And it's not like you're next to a fence and there's you're hanging over the edge. It's not like that. The windows make you feel very secure inside. So if you're someone who's frightened of heights, you're going to have plenty of space within the actual Tembo deck and the Galleria, not to be too close to the edge. You can stand back and still see all the landmarks without going too close to the windows. And for children, it's just an awesome place to go to show them just the sheer size of Tokyo. Like, it's a city, if you've never been to Tokyo, there is no city like it in the whole world. It is unbelievable. You'll basically you won't see the end of the city. It just, even from the vantage point that you're going to be at, 450 meters in the air at the Galleria, you're still not going to see the edge of the city. The buildings just go for as far as the eye can see. It's quite incredible. So definitely take the kids up there. They're going to enjoy it. The Galleria, because it is 110 meters long and, you walk around it, it gives the kids a chance to kind of stretch the legs as well while they're walking around. So they're not in one spot. So it's good for little kids. They can kind of walk up and walk around it and get a bit of an adventure to it. They do have quite a few characters kind of pictured on walls and stuff too to make it entertaining for the kids. So it's definitely a site to visit in terms of for the whole family. I reckon it's a site for the whole family to visit. There's a question there: is there any chance a zip line would ever be installed to view the city from a great height? Whoa, I don't know. Not from Tokyo Skytree. I'd hope it'd be quite some zip line, 600 meters high. There could be, but there's, as far as I know, there's no zip line. I could be corrected, but as far as I know, there's no zip line in the city currently that's operating as a tourist, a tourist site, tourist venue. But maybe they'll do that down the future. But if you're somebody who likes heights, Tokyo Skytree is only one place to go to. There's lots of other observation decks as well to go to within the city. I've already outlined Tokyo Skytree, but there's also the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building in Shinjuku. Now, I've talked about that one as well in a previous podcast. So if you want to check out Shinjuku, everything about Shinjuku, including the free observation tower within the city, that's one to check out. So if you're someone on a budget out there and you're just worried about Tokyo Skytree, thinking, 3,100 yen with an advance ticket still sounds a bit pricey. I reckon it's worth every cent. But if you're still somebody who's worried about that, check out the Shinjuku podcast because there's a free observation tower within the city. But I think all the observation decks are well and truly worth going to visit. Can somebody with mobility issues access this easily? That's a great question. Absolutely they can. Like I said, it has got those 4 elevators which take people up very quickly into the decks. The decks are flat, so you can actually use wheelchairs within them and be able to access the site. It's flat. It's not going to be too cumbersome in terms of walking up or down stairs within the deck. You'll be able to see the views without doing that. And even the Galleria, you take another elevator up to the top of that one. And the Galleria, although it is sloped, like I said, it's 110 meters long, it's a very gentle slope. It's not like it's walking up a hill. It's meant to make you feel like you're walking in the sky. So it's meant to be a pleasant walk. So for mobility issues, you can access both decks without a problem. So definitely don't let that put you off. If you're somebody with mobility issues, this is a site you could easily, an observation tower you could easily do. What else have we got there? Don't know if there's any other questions. I'm just looking through to see if I've missed anyone's questions. If there's any more out there, get them in there. I've already given you the cost of the tickets. I would reckon, get advance tickets. That's probably the way to go. So you save yourself a little bit of money. You save yourself around about 400 yen by getting those advance tickets. Somebody's asked, what is the best thing about visiting this site? What's so cool about it? It's for me, the coolness about this is you're going up the tallest observation tower, the tallest building within Tokyo. That's got to be something worth something. The other thing that makes it cool is that because of the views, you can see the whole city and you can get a really good feel for the city, like I said before. So I feel like that's another reason, another good reason for visiting the site. And I think the other reason to visit is just because you can do shopping and go to aquariums and all sorts of things. It's like a one-stop shop, entertainment stop shop, for the whole family. So if somebody's not keen on going up observation towers, maybe they're keen looking at animals in the aquarium, or maybe they really love shopping. So, it kind of can meet the needs of so many different people within your family group or your group of friends that are going. So I think that's what's one of the great things about visiting this site as well. Can I take my pet? Don't know about that one. I've never seen people take pets up there, so I'm saying probably no. Unless, I've never seen people take pets up there. So I would say no. Are there any days of the week when it's closed? No, it's open every day. So you don't have to worry about that. The hours of operation, good question. I'll just have to check that one up. I think it's 10 o'clock in the morning and it goes till fairly late in the evening. Like I said, I think the best time to visit, if you want to basically, get there without any crowds, I think the morning is the best time to visit. It's usually open from 10 o'clock in the morning and it closes at around about 10 o'clock in the evening, but you have to get in by 9 o'clock, an hour before shutting. So if you get there at 9 o'clock at night, you're only going to have an hour's viewing time, which is usually enough. But, if you want to go a bit longer, you probably want to get there before 9 o'clock. I reckon you should, at the latest, get there at 8:30. Give yourself an hour and a half, particularly if it's the first time going up an observation tower. So, I would do that. And by the way, if you're somebody who's thinking, well, should I go by day or at night? If you can't make up your mind, sunset is always the best time to go. But be aware there will be more people in the tower at that time, and your advance tickets will have to mirror that. So the great thing about going at sunset, of course, is you see it during the day, you see the sunset, and then you see the nights turn on and the beautiful city light up. So that's wonderful. So that's a really great time to go, and that's why a lot of people pick sunset, because they can experience both times. But if you're somebody who just wants to visit and miss all the crowds altogether, the morning is the best time to go. First thing in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, get there, and you're going to have the place pretty much to yourself. There'll be people there, but there won't be any pushing or shoving. You'll be straight into those elevators without a problem. There's another question. What happens if you pre-book and it's cloudy? Can you still see anything? Yeah, you can definitely see things. Even if it is cloudy, you will definitely be able to see stuff below, but it's just that you won't see stuff like Mount Fuji. You won't see too much in the distance. They do let people know about that before you go up if it's cloudy conditions. So don't worry too much about that. You should be fine with that, but you definitely will see lots of Tokyo. Doesn't matter whether it's a little bit cloudy. You will be able to see stuff. Are there any other questions out there? Just having a look through, seeing if there's any other questions. The thing about Tokyo Skytree with the advanced tickets, they don't offer rescheduling. That is one thing to consider, I guess. What you could do is you could get to Tokyo and have a look at the weather over the week if you're there for a week, and then book the ticket, pre-book the ticket then if you want to. But yeah, you could end up with a not so great day, I guess, being up there. Another question I get is, there's so many observation towers in Tokyo. Which one would you go to? Now, it's a great question. I would Each observation tower has its strengths. So Tokyo Skytree, obviously, its strength is it's tall. It's the tallest observation point. One of the most modern ones. It's got a beautiful deck area for people to visit, so it's very comfortable to visit. And it's got all those entertainment facilities below it. So that's the strength of Tokyo Skytree. Tokyo Tower for me is also a great tower to visit because it's a landmark. It's iconic. It's in most of the films and the stuff that you see. It's the famous red and white tower. That's not red. They don't call it red. But in my mind, most people say it's red and white. That it's not red. That's not the official colour. Anyway, it's a beautiful tower. And it's not as tall, but it's iconic. Okay? The other towers to visit, Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building, like I said before, it's free. So if you're someone on a budget, I would go to that one. Shibuya Sky is really popular, and I've done a podcast on that one as well. Shibuya Sky, the advantages to that is it's out in the open. So you don't have any glass windows to basically, take photos from, I guess. But the negative to Shibuya Sky is if it's poor weather, they will close that deck down, that observation deck, and you won't get up to the top. So that's the negative with Shibuya Sky. Very trendy and a beautiful place to visit, don't get me wrong, but the negative is the weather can affect it. They've each got their strengths. I think I'm going to run... My feeling is that down the track, I'm going to go through the strengths and weaknesses of each of the observation towers and give you a more informed informed kind of decision-making process when you go to Tokyo. Because you might only have a couple of days and you might be thinking, well, I've only got time to go up one of them. Well, if you want to go up the tallest tower, Tokyo Skytree is the one to go to. Okay, so if you want to go on the biggest, some would say the best, then that's the one to go to. Does it sway when you're there? Can you feel any movement? I haven't been there during a typhoon or any natural disaster, but during a normal day, I felt nothing. So it's not like you're going to feel motion sickness when you're up there. I haven't really felt any movement. People say Tokyo Skytree, in comparison, you might feel a little bit. But I've got to tell you that all of the observation decks within Tokyo are absolutely safe. They are so well built. And they've survived so many earthquakes and typhoons, particularly Tokyo Tower, being much older than Tokyo Skytree. There's no problems with any of them. Do they have lots of natural disasters? Somebody asks. They do have seismic activity quite a lot. So there is quite a bit of earthquakes within the region. They do get typhoons now and then. So that's why they've definitely built for that eventuality, to make sure that they can withstand those things. So don't worry about natural disasters. They do occur in Japan, but like I said, there's pretty much this has been built as a disaster prevention centre, so it's designed specially for it. Is there public transportation nearby? Somebody asks. Definitely. You've got Tokyo Skytree Station, which is right next to, right on top basically of Tokyo Skytree. A short walk and you'll be right there. There's also Oshiagi Station, which is another station on the other side. So you've got sort of two train stations either side of Tokyo Skytree, and they're within like a couple of 100 meters walk. So there's definitely a couple of really great public transport options. Like I said, it doesn't matter where in the city you come from, you will be able to get yourself really close to Tokyo Skytree, which is really good for those with mobility issues too, because you don't have to walk a long way to get to the site. Somebody said they should put a hotel on top. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I reckon being that high up in a hotel, that would be pretty cool. I reckon it'd be a bit pricey, but it would be really cool if they could do that. Just trying to see if there's any other questions. I think I've covered most of them. I think if I have missed any, if anyone wants to post any now, that'd be great, just in case I've missed somebody's question. But I think I've covered them all. So like I said, down the track, I want to do a podcast where I go through each of the observation towers and give you my personal thoughts on which ones I think you should go to. If you have only 1 or 2 days in Tokyo, you should definitely go to one. But which one would you go to? I'll let you know about that in a future episode. And I think down the track, maybe we'll be able to run a poll as well. So I think I've answered all the questions. I hope the episode has provided you with insights into Tokyo Skytree. It is great to visit. Just to say that you've been up the tallest tower in Japan and the 3rd highest in the world. You've also experienced the 7th fastest elevator in the world. I mean, they're great things to say. And you get some fantastic views of the city. You also get to experience some great shopping and entertainment experiences at the aquarium and the planetarium and all those iconic shopping places that I mentioned, the Pokemon centers and all that sort of stuff. So you get the opportunity to do that. So you could easily spend a whole day at Tokyo Skytree. So now that you know more about the building, its design and its history, your visit should be much more meaningful and memorable, I'm hoping. So if you're actually staying in Tokyo in November, December, remember to also go to those Christmas markets, because the added decoration is another bonus as well. If you want to see pictures of some of the highlights from a visit to Tokyo Skytree, be sure to check out my YouTube video attached to the podcast. Please don't be scared to also press the follow button. This will help you connect with future podcasts, and it also means that I know I'm doing something right, and it gives me encouragement to continue exploring Japan and other sites around the world with people to help them with their travel plans and give them historical insights into places. So please follow me. Also remember, if you want to contact me and don't feel comfortable messaging in the chat, send an email to sightsandsstoriesau@gmail.com, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions there. Be sure to catch my next episode on Japan. Next time I plan on visiting another interesting city in the so-called Golden Triangle. We're actually going to go outside of Tokyo, and we're going to go to one of my favorite places in Japan, and arguably probably a lot of people's favorite places. We're going to go to Kyoto. So I'll leave it at that for now, and I'll save it as a bit of a mystery to see which site we go to in Kyoto, but that's where we'll be heading. So until then, I wish you all well, and safe travel to all those who are abroad. Catch you later, mate.